I still remember the way the morning light fell across his face. It was soft, golden, and heartbreakingly peaceful. If I had known that moment would be our last together, I would have held him tighter, memorized every line of his smile, every shade in his eyes. But I didn't. I thought we had more time. We always think we do. Mark and I had been married for 9 years. We met in college, the kind of love that felt effortless, like breathing. He was calm where I was restless, thoughtful where I was impulsive. For years we fit perfectly, two imperfect people who somehow made sense together. But perfection doesn't last when trust begins to fade. It started small, like a whisper in the background of our lives. Late nights at the office, unexplained texts, the way he'd flinch when I asked simple questions. "You're being paranoid," he'd say with a half smile that used to reassure me. But now, it just made me wonder what he was hiding behind it. One night I woke up at 2 a.m. and found him sitting in the dark living room, phone in his hand, his face lit by the screen's glow. When he noticed me, he locked it instantly. "Couldn't sleep," he said. But his voice cracked on the word sleep and my stomach sank. The next day I told myself not to snoop. I told myself good wives trust their husbands. But good wives also know when something's already broken. When he left his phone on the counter to shower, I opened it. The first message I saw was from someone named Rachel. "I miss the way you look at me when we're pretending no one notices." The room spun. I couldn't breathe. Every word was a blade, slicing through the version of reality I thought I knew. I scrolled. There were months of messages, inside jokes, secret plans, I love yous. He wasn't just cheating. He was building a life that didn't include me. When he came out of the shower, towel draped around his neck, he froze the second he saw the phone in my hand. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just asked, "How long?" He sat down, eyes glassy. "Almost a year." "Do you love her?" Silence. Then a whisper. "I don't know anymore." That silence shattered something inside me. Not because he'd cheated, but because I realized he'd already left me long before I found out. His body was here, but his heart had been gone for months. For 3 days, we barely spoke. He slept in the guest room. Every sound in the house felt foreign. The hum of the fridge, the ticking clock, even the wind through the curtains. On the 4th morning, he said he was going out to clear his head. I just nodded. I was too tired to fight. He kissed my forehead before leaving. A soft, familiar touch. It felt automatic, almost rehearsed. I didn't know it would be the last time I ever felt him. Hours passed. No calls, no texts. Then the knock came. 2 police officers. Their eyes told me everything before their words did. "There's been an accident, ma'am. He didn't make it." My knees gave out. I remember the sound of my own scream, raw and animal, echoing through the house that used to be ours. They said it was a car crash. A truck ran a red light, instant, no pain. But I couldn't stop thinking. He was leaving her house, not mine. The next few days blurred into funeral arrangements and condolences from people who didn't know half the story. Everyone called him a loving husband, a good man, taken too soon. I smiled, nodded, played my part. But inside I was drowning in questions. How do you grieve someone who broke your heart before they died? Then, 2 nights after the funeral, I got a call. Unknown number. The voice was trembling. "I'm Rachel," she said. "I thought you should know." His last words. I didn't speak. My throat closed. She continued. "He called me before the crash. He said he was done lying to both of us. He was going to tell you everything, start over clean. He said he still loved you." I hung up. My heart felt like it had stopped beating. I wanted to hate her, but instead I hated the timing, the cruelty of it all. He was finally ready to come home, and fate didn't even give him the chance. For days, I walked around the house touching everything he'd left behind. The mug with his chipped initials, his favorite jacket on the chair, his cologne still lingering in the air. I wanted to be angry, but grief and love tangled until I couldn't tell them apart. A week later, while sorting through his things, I found a small envelope tucked inside his dresser. My name in his handwriting. Inside was a note. "I've made mistakes I can't undo, but I want you to know, you were never the problem. You were the reason I knew what real love looked like. I'm sorry I forgot that. I'm sorry I lost my way." I sat there for hours reading it over and over. His words didn't erase the betrayal, but they softened its edges. They gave me permission to remember the man I fell in love with, not just the one who broke my heart. People think closure comes from answers, but sometimes it comes from accepting that you'll never have them. I'll never know if he truly meant to come back. I'll never know if Rachel's story was the truth or her way of easing her guilt. But I do know this. Forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of what they left behind. Every morning now, I stand by the window where he used to drink his coffee and whisper the same words. I forgive you, Mark. Not because he deserves it, but because I deserve peace. His memory still lingers in the quiet moments, in the space beside me in bed, in the echo of that final kiss. But the pain doesn't own me anymore. It's just part of the story. And maybe that's what love really is, not perfect endings, but learning how to live with the ones that broke you.